have it, or you ended up getting rid of it?
I ended up accidentally killing it.
Oh,
When I do water changes, I turn off the filtration so that it doesn't burn up.
okay.
It's running dry. And when I got done, it was dinner time, and I went out to eat, and then forgot all about it.
You should be live, puppy. What's going on? Oh, wait a Give me a second. My grandkid wants to. Here we go. There you go, buddy. All right. Yeah, no, it's just that's the heartbreaking stuff of having large fish, because they do become like a pet. It's like having a cat or a dog. It's just the personality you get out of those.
That's why I think I gravitate more towards them rather than the smaller fish. I know a lot of people like small fish, but I don't get the same connection with them as I do with the big guys.
I forgot who I was. I think it was it Ben Ochart this morning that was saying that one of the things that he really enjoys about the cichlid is that every time he comes up to the tank, it seems to him like they come up to meet him and greet him.
Right.
Where he has the planet tank with the nanofish, and they could care less what's going on in that.
Right.
And I can kind of agree. The only ones that I see that tend to react a little bit, but it's not because they're coming to recognize me, is because they know that when they see me, it means food, are the guppies. And especially
the same with the cichlids, really. Though.
Yeah. If you put your hand up towards the top of the glass, they all immediately swim. But yeah, no. Well, I just want to take a quick minute to thank everybody that's here today. As you guys are well aware, we have Whip with us today, Whip's World. I was very fortunate enough to have Whip agree to be on my live stream for today. I don't know if you guys have seen the last couple of live streams that I've done. This is a relatively new project. I don't have any structured questions that I ask the guests that come on. More than anything else, it's a way for me to get to know people that I've interacted with at one point or another through the community, but never really had an opportunity to speak face to face. And I'm taking that opportunity now by inviting people to come on here and speak with me, because there's a lot to be said to have conversations versus, in text, a lot of the times things take out of you don't get the context of what's being said, or it leads to misinterpretation and stuff like that. But when you have a conversation with somebody, it could be the same thing that they said, but you get to see the body language and then understand the context of what is being said.
Right.
And you have the inflections and all that stuff. So that makes it real interesting in that aspect. Plus, a lot of the people that are coming here to join me are people that I've been seeing for a while, and I've always been intrigued by who they are and what they do. And in this case, you, Whip, I want to say I think we almost started around the same time, or at least you came to my attention almost at the same time as I started watching KG Tropicals. And the reason I remember you personally is because John always used to reference you to looking to some musician based on your avatar. And
yeah, Zach Wild.
Yeah, and that always stuck to me. And then, eventually I started seeing, once you make a connection with somebody in chat, it's real easy to start seeing them in other chats, and you recognize somebody and go, oh, okay, I know of them. I don't know who they are, but I know of them.
Right.
And then, the more you get involved with the community, the more you start finding out what some of these people are. The ones that are always fascinating me, though, are the ones where the avatar is not a picture of the person. So when you finally get to see the person, it's like, oh, it's either, yeah, that person is exactly the way I imagined them, or it's like, man, I had no idea that, they were this or that or whatever. So that's always real cool and a really, really pleasant surprise.
Right. One of the funnier moments I've had with the bigger channels, not that they're huge or anything, but KG Tropicals and Primetime Aquatics, and they did the Chicago Aquashella, Big Rich from Ohio Fish Rescue. The minute I walked up there, even though I'd never met any of them before, they're all like, "You've got to be Whip," and I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, and then what one of the things that I started going, man, I'm really intrigued by you, was the fact that you were willing to go. You see, and this is, I got to make a confession, and I always was under the impression that you were out of the Pittsburgh area.
Oh yeah.
And,
Well, no, I
well,
don't know
yeah,
what would have
because
given you that idea.
I know, because everything I would see, like the colors that I was associated with sporting, and I think a couple of comments that you were making about go Chargers, I mean go Steelers. It was one of those things where I was like, I guess he's out of the Pittsburgh. And then once you started coming on camera and you had your channel, I would see the obvious signs that you were a Steeler fan. So I was like, yeah, I think he's from Pittsburgh. But anyways, what really fascinated me was the fact that you, out of your own will, decided to go help John move. And I was thinking, man, that's got to be somebody that, I don't know. By that point, had you already met John and Lisa?
Yeah, I'd met him at the Aqua Shell the year before, and we'd been talking back and forth, off the channel. We'd connected. He's a little younger than me, but we connected a little bit, I think, and we just been buddies ever since I started going on that channel. And I think the connection over there was, I don't even know. I have no idea what caused it, but it was
well, it's
pretty
the same
cool.
it's the same connection that drives us all together, which is the fish. I mean,
Right.
that's the obvious one. If it wasn't for fish, I don't think I would have ever had an opportunity to come across you, and much less this opportunity to really interact with you. So I think that's why it makes it so interesting when we get to go to these shows, that there seems to be, even though we haven't met the person, there's that connection because we have that commonality. We know you're certain that the person that's there is also likes the same things you like.
Lisa's
And
the best.
huh?
Yeah, just
Oh,
she's in there.
Oh, hi Lisa. Thanks for being here. And I will. Well, let me get some of the high. I need to apologize. Um, those of you that have been watching me for a while know that once I get talking, I don't really. I focus more on the conversation than what's going on in the chat, and for that I apologize. And those of you that know me will laugh, because when I do stream with my co-host on Saturdays, I seldom get a word in. So this is my opportunity to offload and get everything off that I don't get to say on the Saturdays when I'm co-hosting. But all jokes aside, here I just want to start out by thanking. Let's see. Wow, we've got quite a bit of people here with us. But Bunny, thank you very much for being here with us. Adele, thanks for joining us. Audra, I know she said she was going to drop in, but probably wasn't going to be able to stick around. Jeff, thank you so much. I was real serious when I put it in the comments for the members. It's really the only reason I have memberships is because I've been, YouTube just gets on you about doing that. Not that I don't feel like I have any content of value that I can offer extra for a membership. I try to put it as low as possible that there was, because like Rico says, I don't think there's anything other than what you're going to get here today that there's extra, at least not at this point. I don't really have the time. That's why when I stream, it's so weird, because sometimes it'll be in the morning, sometimes it'll be in the evening. It's just I work rotating schedules. But thank you, Jeff, for being my very first member. It looks like Peplin also became a member for my channel, and Eduardo, thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate that. Mark, thank you for being here. Jay, Nano Aquarium, Todd, TJ. Oh, Todd was my first guest for this project that I'm working on. So,
oh yeah,
TJ Autocross.
Yep.
And let's see who else. I know I had some other people come in here. Lisa, thank you very much. Jeff, Pelham Aquatics, thank you for being here. Vanotsky, thank you very much. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't. Oh, Mandy. Oh, yeah, Mandy became a member also. Thank you very much. That's Sen Ginger.
Yeah, you just Eduardo just gifted you 10, so you're gonna have
smoke.
10 new ones.
Well, thank you very much, Eduardo. Like I said, I wasn't planning on having any of the membership and stuff like that. I don't have any of the bells and whistles that some of the other channels have. All I can say is thank you very much. I don't understand what value you're going to get out of me, other than you'll get to enjoy on the conversations of my guests, and we'll get to learn about them a little bit more for those of us that haven't had the opportunity to meet them. Coral, thank you very much. Craig, thank you very much. Linda, thank you for being here. And yes, sir. Oh, if you guys hear me talking to somebody into space, I'm not. I've got my grandkids here with me visiting. This is Nathaniel. And then I got the other three that are out there playing around. But they're they find it real curious that the old guy is on the YouTube. They're used to seeing younger people.
Oh yes.
So I don't know if
Gamers.
I don't know if that makes me cool in their eyes or not, but nonetheless. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back into this. Like I said, I do apologize beforehand. I really don't read a lot of the comments unless it's a question you have for us, guys. Make sure you put the ad in front of it so that I can it'll highlight it, and I'll pin it up here so that we can try to answer whatever question is being asked. So with that being said, so that's how I start finding out about you, Whip. And I always do one thing that I would found it really interesting is it speaks to the type of person that you seem to be, is that willingness that to help somebody and really and really be a friend. And I think that's very few people nowadays have that character, and that's why ever since then I've always been intrigued by who you are.
Well, it's just something that like the old man kind of instilled in me, back in the day. If you can help somebody, you should help them. It's just
Yeah.
the way it should be.
Well, but that makes sense when you don't have to drive halfway across the states to go give a hand, though.
I've got so much vacation time. It was no big deal.
Well, but it's one of those things where when I saw that, I said, "Wow, that's Wibb is definitely a special person to be able to drop what you were doing and go help out somebody, especially as far as it was. I mean, that's pretty impressive." But it kind of gave me an insight as to the person that you are. So that was kind of cool. And from my experience, most of the people that are here um, are kind of the same personalities. I mean, I don't know if that's just happens to be a coincidental trait of the hobby, but everybody, I see a lot of people willing to help out. Uh, Sometimes it's not as like going out all the way to help, but anytime the community somebody has been in need of some help or whatever, it
Right.
seems like everybody rallies together and comes out and helps out a lot of these people. And a lot of the times it's people that we personally don't even know, but just for the fact that they're part of the community, that's one of the things that's so unique and interesting about our community here on YouTube.
Right. I think that just goes with common interest. There's we all know what to one extent or another. Like I have no idea what Kenny and Danny are going through with 80 plus tanks. I don't know what that's like. I only have 7. And I struggle with that. But you at least have a working knowledge of what it takes to take care of multiple tanks, and most everybody here does too. Um, uh, I know it's got to be, if somebody reaches out and says, "Hey, man, I need a little help." If you can help, just help. I mean, it's not that unless it's you are not in a position, but there's other things you can do. You can share it out. You can champion for them if it's something you believe in. So
Yeah. So, have you always lived in Chicago, or how does what's the appeal for Pittsburgh, or especially their football team?
Most of my life, I did. My pops was stationed in Germany during Nam, so I was over there for about a year when as a kid, as a little baby. But other than that, I've always been in Illinois, Northern Illinois area. The Steelers thing came about because, I mean, 1976-ish is when I started following football, fairly consistently, and the Bears were just god awful bad, and the Steelers were on TV all the time, and I'm like, I like their colors, I like the way the black and the gold plays together, and I just stuck with them. So they've been my guys since like 1976.
Oh, okay. So that's like the Bradshaw era on forward, huh?
Yep, right. And it was a blessing in disguise, or a disguise in the, I don't know exactly, but I went right into it as champions. They're winning Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Then as soon as I'm like hitting high school, they're in a tank for 20 years.
Well, I know they had one of the most interesting running backs for the longest time in Jerome Bettis.
Oh
I
yeah,
used to love watching him because he didn't believe in cutting. He was like, "Give me the ball. I'm going downfield.
right.
If you want to get in the way, get in the way. But if not, then."
But he
And to
had
see,
nimble feet too. For a guy
oh
that was
yeah,
like almost 300 pounds, he could
well,
dance around a little bit too.
he
Not
looked
much,
like
but
he looked like a lineman carrying the football. That's
yeah,
how
right.
big he was. I mean, compared to all the running backs that were in the league, he just really stood out for just
Right.
being big. But he was also fast. He was deceivingly fast. That's the thing, though. You see the guy that big, you don't think he's supposed to move as quick as he did.
Hmm.
But
That's
yeah,
why he's in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, that too. So I take it that based on what I've seen on your channel, you're not planning to stay in Chicago once you retire, correct?
That is correct. We bought property down in Tennessee. The wife really wants to go to Florida, but Florida is just too much hot for me. I can't do it. So I mean, Tennessee's not going to be that much better, but it's at least halfway. And plus, we can still go to vacation in Florida and make it, it's something different. Whereas if you live there, it's hard to vacation there because it's no different than when you're every day.
Yeah.
So,
And that kind of puts you, well, you still stay sort of in the middle, but out of the extreme cold up there in
right.
Chicago.
That's kind of the plan, is just to get out of the nasty cold. Although it's not been bad with the whole global warming thing happening. It's the last couple of years haven't been too horrible, but yeah, it's just when it drops to be 40. You know that whole boiling water, tossing the boiling water out. I mean, we literally did that. I mean, that is a real thing.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah,
I,
you don't want to go somewhere. You don't want to live somewhere where the wind or the air hurts your face.
yeah, the coldest place I've ever been happened to be in northern, well, just west of Salt Lake City. We got stationed up there at the Tuolumne Navy, the Tuolumne Army munitions depot, and I mean, I had been where it had snowed, but and it kind of spent a couple of times. Never really lived in cold weather. But I remember we were pulling watch one of those nights, and I had never seen anything like this. It was kind of like out of a movie because the weather. We had a little propane heaters. What basic description of the watch poses that we had was taking. They took like a train container, and then on top of that, they basically build what was it, about an 8x8 plywood structure. So it had no insulation, no nothing. It just had a roof. It had a couple of windows you could slide open, and then they put in a little propane heater, and that was our heat source when we were pouring watch at night. And it'd get pretty cold, but you crank that little heater up, and as long as you didn't run out of gas, you're going to be okay. I mean, you weren't peeling layers of clothes off, but you
Right.
weren't going to freeze either. Well, I remember one night I was sitting there with the guy I was pulling watch, and the first thing we always did, especially when we were going to do the night shift, we'd check the propane tank to make sure it had enough fuel in it before we started our watch hours. And so we made sure, I didn't check it. It was my battle buddy's turn to check it, and well, we're sitting there, and it must have been like 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, you could feel like this dense environment just creeping down and getting colder and colder and colder. And I remember going over and I looked over to see because you could always see the shadow of the pilot light or the burner when it was, glowing in the bottom of that thing.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh, it must have blown out. And that's why it's getting so cold. So I turn around and look and I'm staring at it. I can see that it's lit, but I'm staring at it like if it wasn't. I'm going, what the hell's going on? Well, anyways, it started getting real cold. And we're like, what the hell? Looked at it. It was cranked all the way up. I kid you not, for about 2 hours and a half, we literally were huddled up on that little heater, trying to stay from freezing, because I wouldn't even say warm. But I mean, we spent 2 hours. We weren't even looking out the window to see our response. We were huddled up on the ground, leaning up as tight as we could against this little heater. Well, we go to our end of duty, we do our debriefing, and come to find out it had been like -2. And that is the coldest I've ever been. And so knowing that reference, when I hear people that are like in Minnesota and it's like -10, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I've experienced all the cold that I'm ever going to need.
Right. Yeah, it's it can get a little intense. I work outside. That's my gig is, trimming trees for the power company. And it can get interesting, when it's 10, 12, 15 below, and then you have the wind chill in when it's 30 and 45 below. It's yeah, it gets fun.
I got to answer this question because this is it's my wife's account, but I got one of my grandkids using her tablet, and he's actually in the stream right now. His name's Dominic, and he wants to know when is the next time we're going to go in the pool. Hey, buddy, we're going in the pool as soon as we get done with the stream. But yeah, that's what I think that's the key to having grandkids is make sure you get a house with a pool and you live in a hot environment because they want to come over all the time to be able to use it.
That must be it. I never see mine.
Yeah, no. Once they get older, once they realize that grandparents are not cool, we're not probably going to ever see them again unless it's graduation or somebody's birthday. But right now, we really like having them because they actually choose to come out here.
That's nice. Nice that they're so close too. 3 of mine are in Florida.
Well, 2 of them we have them within an hour drive. The other 2, Nathaniel and his sister Sophia, they're actually out in Houston, but they're out here for the summer, and they're that's why they're down here visiting right now. So we've had them for a few weeks, and which is kind of cool. See, we get to spoil them rotten and get them all worked up, and as soon as we're done with that, we get to give them back, and parents got to deal with them. See, you got any questions for us out here?
I'm not seeing anything yet.
No, not yet. So how long you been in Chicago?
My whole life. So.
Okay, 50, so Germany was just a very short time when you guys were staying.
Yeah, it was a year. Just while he was stationed there, and then we came home.
So any other places you've lived besides Germany?
Wisconsin when I went to college. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never lived anywhere else other than here.
Well, the other thing that I've learned from following you on Instagram and especially on Instagram, because that's where you posted all this stuff, is the fact that you like music, right?
I do.
How big has music been? How much of a part has music been in your life?
It's always been a big part. I have never been somebody who I don't usually see the A-listers, I mean, I'll go see the big names when they roll through it once in a while, but I support a lot of local music more than anything. So, and then something I never would have thought would be in my wheelhouse when I was in my 20s is I listened to a lot of stuff that I never thought I'd listen to, like folk and not country so much. I'm still not into the country thing, but Crystal is. So we go see him every now and again, just to give her a bone every now and again, All right, we saw 3 heavy metal bands in a row. We can go. We can watch a concert. But yeah, that's progressive metal is probably where I'm at most of the time. But there's not a whole lot of that around here, so I take what I can get.
Not in Chicago. It's not a big music.
Chicago does, but I don't venture into the big city very often.
Oh,
I
okay.
do
So
a
you're on
lot
the
of,
suburbs?
yeah, way out in the suburbs. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I'm like 2.5 hours from Chicago itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other side of the state, actually, north.
Oh, they're asking. Eduardo wants to know. Tell us the why the hair. Why do you have
Eduardo
your hair
wants
so
to know
long? I
why
guess.
the hair. I don't know. That's a good question. I've always had long hair my whole life. Even when I was a kid, it was longer than normal. My mom liked it long. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Although she didn't like it long after I got older, so she always wanted me to cut it, but that never happened.
I believe it or not, at one point I used to have long hair. Now I don't think I can pull it off.
If you get creative.
Unless I want to get the Danny DeVito look. It's
Yeah,
slick on the top, long on the sides.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's not my flavor.
No.
So, what are some of the current bands that you're really into? I know that you posted this one. Is it a punk band or alternative band? Where it's two young ladies and a gentleman. Um, I saw you put them on Instagram, and you've been posting them pretty regularly.
Yeah, they're called the Rumors. They're actually out of Iowa. Their home base is in Iowa. Um, One of the bands that is here in the Rockford area is a punk band, a punk rock, and they were so close to making it big. Disney signed them back in the day, and um, they were basically on their way. They have a song on Mission Impossible 2's soundtrack. They've got several songs on TV shows like Criminal Minds and stuff to open up the show. I'm like, hey, I know that song, but it just they didn't quite get over the hump, but they are able to draw in some of these other bands where they get together. So the Rumors opened up for them at a local pub over here, and that was the first time I saw them, probably last year. They are really good. They are very, very talented, and so I kind of try to support them as much as I can. I can't justify driving anywhere to see a band too far anyway. If you're going to have a couple pops and you don't want to be driving after that. Plus, you don't want to get pulled over after that either. So there's multiple reasons why you don't want to do it. But so yeah, I just kind of stick within my range right here and just catch them as they come through.
No. So, have you ever worked with the music industry at all, or been associated with the music industry?
Not in a formal sense. I play bass, so I've got a YouTube channel that I don't do anything with anymore called Steel Rain. That was the name of our band. Um, our guitar player lives out. In fact, when we went to the Clash last year, I was able to visit him in person because he lives right there, not in Morgantown or Morganville or Morgan, whatever the name of that town is out there that the Clash was at. But he was like literally 15 minutes away. I'm like, that is amazing. So but we were just an internet band. Like he'd record it, send it to me, and then we'd put something together and then post it.
No.
So, but we haven't done anything with that in many years. So,
Any ideas of restarting that again, or
probably not. I got too many oars in the water, I guess, is what the problem is, and I had to kick something, throw something overboard. And
Well,
to be honest with you, I get more enjoyment out of watching other people do it because I'm not that good. Really, I'd rather just watch somebody,
well,
play
maybe
it
we
the way
can
it's supposed
we
to be.
can start pulling some people together and form the Fish Fam local band, since
There you go.
we do have some performers
You
within the
do, yeah.
community and some serious talent. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to find a guitarist and a drummer, and there you go. You got a little three-piece band.
Yeah, and you don't want me singing either, not even backup.
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll find a singer no problem. There's plenty of people that can sing in this community.
So what else you want to know? Who else? Somebody asked a question. I saw it. Ask Quip something.
Let's see. Yeah, I know that was the thing about the hair. Why you like to keep your hair long.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think I've seen anything else in there. So you said you had 7 aquariums.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. 1, 2, 3. Well, 7 plus 2. I have 2. I don't count them because they're quarantine / hospital tanks. But
they'll become tanks eventually.
yeah, right.
Every quarantine tank
Right.
eventually becomes that emergency tank
Yep.
because you got something you really wanted, and it's kind of like, oh, we'll put them in here.
Hey, speaking of which, I've only mentioned it like on a couple streams because I haven't been on much this weekend. But I did do a thing on Friday. I bought another arowana after
Oh, okay.
accidentally killing my last one. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. But I got one coming. It'll be here on Tuesday.
So how long have you been keeping aquariums and fish and stuff like that? Is it something you continuously done, or is it something that's kind of gone and come?
It's been something I've done most of my adult life. Yeah, I think I started as a what is junior high? It was in between. There's a couple of years in junior high where they needed us to volunteer to take stuff home from the science room. Like there were pigeons, and I volunteered to take pigeons home, or doves, not pigeons. And then they said, we got this 10-gallon tank, and we need somebody to take that home. And I asked, and parents said, sure, go ahead. And so I set it up for the summer in my bedroom, and it was started off with 3 guppies. And before I went back to school that next time around, now people are going to get pissed. I've said this before, but we were actually flushing guppies, just netfuls of them. There were so many. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in this 10-gallon tank. And it was, my dad didn't know what to do, and I was in like 5th grade. I didn't know what to do. It was just too many fish. They could barely, it was so tight in there that it was just like one seething mass. And so he'd net out a couple scoops and then just flush them right down the toilet.
Okay, Jay just said that I'm skipping questions, so let me go. Okay, I'm Mexicali. Ask Whit, what's one thing that he wishes he had known about keeping fish that he had learned the hard way? That you learned the hard way.
Redundancy. I know a lot of people keep one heater and one filter, and on my 210 I have now got 3 canisters on that thing. I have 3 hanging on the backs, and an air stone, or an air what do they call them, a sponge, just because I don't want anything to go sideways on me. I've got 3 heaters in there in case one dies. I'm not in panic mode immediately. I can either take the time to fix it or replace it without it throwing a huge wrench into things. And I've also just recently learned that you should keep your sponge filters not on the main system. So when you turn everything off, you can still keep the one filter going in case you're an idiot like I was and forget to turn it back on. You don't lose everything in the tank.
Let's see. Jay's asking a question. He says, "What is the one fish that you've kept and would not like to keep again, and why?"
Little fish. I keep trying. I keep trying to get into the community thing, and that tank is. I don't spend any time other than maintenance. I don't spend any time with it at all. Um, yeah, so I mean, I've tried to put tetras and Cory cats and stuff like that in there. I just, I mean, I literally just spent $100 on I don't know 18 fish, little tiny tetras of different kinds, and it just I thought maybe that would pique, spark the interest again, but I can't I cannot connect with it, so I mostly just stay away from them.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's interesting because I think the fish community is no different than people that keep dogs. Like there's people that all they want is big dogs, and they
Hmm.
don't want to deal with the smaller breeds. And there's just people that would never keep a large breed. They always want the small breed. So I guess the fish community is very similar in that aspect. I my only thing I don't dislike large fish. I just don't like um, I don't like when you only have like the one fish, and that's all you can have in there because they're so big that no matter what you put in there, they're gonna move, push over, break, or something.
Right.
So that's the only reason why I don't keep some of the bigger fish. It's just because, and then having to deal with the aggression a lot of the times with, especially your cichlids and stuff like that.
That is it is a thing. I mean, I had to move. To speak to your point, I had to move my Jaguar, my uh, from a 210. They'd been getting along fine for 3 years, 3.5 years, and then just one day, my Oscar looked like he had been in a fight with Tyson, and I'm like, what? Now why? And so I moved the Jaguar out, and he's the only fish in a 150-gallon tank. So it's kind of a waste of space, but you can't put anything in there with him because he'll just either eat it or kill it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's always been like I think some of the most vivid colored, the most interesting fish are like African cichlids. But that the one commonality that I hear from everybody that's kept them is just the aggression. Sooner or later, you're going to have the guy that's going to become, the tank bully, and it's going to just create havoc. And if you don't catch it on time, you're going to end up with dead fish.
Right.
And it's so unfortunate because they are some of the most beautiful fish that I've seen. But it's just that's the downside. I guess that's the drawback of having such good looking fish.
It's also it's. I mean, to say it's fun is it might be a stretch, but I kind of enjoy trying different things that people say you can't do. Like I have an angelfish in with that when the Jaguar was in there. The Jaguar never messed with the angel, and everybody's like, "Yeah, you can't put an angel in with a Jaguar," and I say, "Yes, you can." What you can't do apparently is have a Oscar in there that's just as big as his, because I mean those two were fighting for dominance, and the Oscar lost. So, but yeah, I think the challenge of trying to find the perfect um, combination of fish, I kind of dig that. And then but you do have to have backup plans. Somebody has to be able to take that fish, or you have to have another tank you can put it in, because things do go sideways in a hurry.
All right, and then Peplin's asking, how was breakfast this morning?
And breakfast was fantastic. Pep. Company was better. For those of you who don't know, I met up with Kenny E, and we had breakfast this morning. He's in town for family things. So.
So now, going back to talking about the aquashellas and stuff like that. Now that Chicago is no longer hosting an aquashella there, is it something that is going to be problematic for you, or are you going to travel to some of the other sites?
I might travel if we can work it out. I might hit Daytona this year. Is it Daytona?
Yeah,
It's wherever the new location
yeah,
is.
Daytona
Um,
Beach.
because it coincides with our vacation plans to be in Florida for 2 weeks. That would kick off the vacation basically. So if I can get there a day early, maybe on Friday, hang out with everybody Friday night, maybe into Saturday a little bit, and then I can take off and head to the other side of the state. Um, I don't know exactly where Daytona is in relationship to Marco Island, but it's probably a good 3 or 4 hour drive. So I'm not going to be going back and forth. I'll just stay there overnight on Friday night and then head out sometime on Saturday. But yeah, it did. It's a huge blow to because there's nothing really else out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no other big convention. I have to either go to Houston or Florida.
Well, that one to me was a little bit surprising because isn't one of the founders from the Chicago area?
Yeah,
And
that's why I didn't think it would be them.
yeah, I figured it was going to be a different site that they were going to lose. When I heard that one of them was being removed, I really never thought it was going to be Chicago.
I thought it was going to be Florida because that it's a smaller show. Of the three, I think that was the smallest one. I could be wrong, but I thought that's what I heard. So I thought, oh well, they'll get rid of the little guy and keep the two bigger ones. And plus, that's where the two founders were from. So I think right, Texas and one's from Texas and one's from
I
Chicago.
think so. One's from the Dallas area, and I think George is from the Chicago area. So yeah, that was a real big shock to me to come and find out that Chicago was no longer in play, and it was kind of selfish for selfish reasons because it would have been a lot easier for me to get out to Chicago than it is to get out to Florida. I got to go all the way across the United States to get to Florida.
Right, right. Yeah, that's we were more centrally located. Now you got two in the south. I guess it's better weather anyway. They don't have to worry about it getting cold up here. Like if they were coming in August, I think was it August last year?
Yes.
No, it was October because it was it happened at the same time as Kenny's convention.
Oh, Oktoberfest.
Yeah. So yeah, it's getting a little nippy. In fact, if I remember right, it was rather chilly inside the facility because everybody got COVID. Those two things have nothing to do with each other, but
yeah. Let's see. Anybody else posted anything else that I might have skipped?
A lot of highs.
Yeah, they're carrying on in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm not all those questions that I missed earlier. And I don't even know. I didn't go all the way to the top, but I think I got to where they started asking questions. See, I thought this was going to do like it does on YouTube, where it highlights your name when you do the app, but it doesn't. Yes. That's why I was missing them. I was waiting to see the orange box around the name, but I know what I'm gonna do. I need to be smart. I'm gonna put it on my phone where I can see it there. That way, I'm not missing those.
Oh yeah. That's the problem when we play the D&D thing on Mondays. Is people are talking and I don't even know how to find the chat or respond to it. I can find it, I can see it, but I can't reply to it on here. But I think they changed that actually now.
On what? On YouTube or StreamYard?
On StreamYard. Like I see I can actually post now.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the new things that they're allowing is for you to share the comments, be able to post it. Where I remember as a guest you couldn't. It was only the host that was able to interact.
Oh, is that what it was? That's probably why I didn't know about it. Is because I've never hosted.
Yeah. So, any plans in the future? You starting up live streams on your channel?
Yeah, I just don't have a ton of time. I keep thinking I can get it done this day, but you don't want to step on anybody's toes, even though it's almost impossible not to do that anymore. But finding a day that works, that I don't want to just run over somebody else's time. So
Lisa's asking how big is the arowana that you got?
The new one, it's supposed to be 3 inches, so just a little tiny guy.
Oh, so you get to grow it up.
Yeah, which is what I did with the first one. That's probably my favorite part of fish keeping is watching them grow up. You get an Oscar that's this big, and now he's 15, 16 inches in there. The arowana was 27 inches when I lost her. That was a big fish.
Let me see. Any other questions? What? No. Um, let's see.
How you been? I've been fine, Caleb.
Oh, Caleb's is in the chat now. He's one of the newer, I guess, members of the community.
Yeah, he's a youngster that
He's a student, right, for Jess,
I believe so. Yeah, or
or
was.
or
I'm
was
not
it the
sure.
same school
Yeah.
that she was working at? It's a Mexicali. How long before Whip gets retired? Oh, how much longer you got before you can call it quits?
Probably a decade. Unfortunately, when the stock market took a crap there, it set me back a good 5 years probably. So that was unfortunate. We're just getting back to where it was when it crashed. So
You don't mind me asking you what it is you do for work?
no, not at all. It's I'm a tree trimmer for
Okay.
the power company. So we're line clearance.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I do the same thing. If you're familiar with Carrie, Science Scale,
Okay.
her husband does the exact same job as me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're both we go out and look at the work, set it up, kind of like the middleman between the boss and the workforce.
Yeah, no, we have. I work for. It's kind of weird because we are a a utility company, but we do not only the power, but we also do the agricultural water for the valley that we live in, the community that we live in. So we're both the power company and the water company, but it's not. It's the real water. It's not the treated. Each city gets the water from us, and they treat their own water for the city. But yeah, I'm familiar with the job you do because we have crews that go out there and clear those power lines and
Right. Yep.
periodically go check on them.
Same thing. I'm in the transmission department, which they're the big lines, the big towers that go across country, basically. Not the stuff that feeds the individual houses, but I
Yeah.
mean I've done that too. But right now, currently, I've been in the transmission department for the last 10 years.
So you're not the guy that has to get in the helicopter, hang out the side, and look at the big towers to see if everything's okay, right?
I've done that. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. I even got that on video on Facebook or something somewhere. Yeah, where there's no doors on it, and they're banking, darn near sideways, and all you see is ground, and the only thing holding you in is a little skinny. It's not like a fighter pilot where you got the whole harness. It's just a regular car seat belt, and you're like,
It looks like a shoelace that's
yeah,
holding you in.
right.
Or maybe that's the way it looks because I know how high it is, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, there's no way.
Don't come
There's no
undone.
way
Don't come
I would
undone.
be leaning out the side.
Liquor, it was very good.
Oh, they're asking you about your
The same
breakfast with
the
Kenny.
same question again.
So what? Okay, what did you have for breakfast? What were the items on your plate?
Oh, I had a because I'm a carnivore. I had a all meat omelet with a side order of biscuits and gravy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess Cora wants to know what's the worst injury you received by an animal in your care. Have you kept anything other than fish?
I've kept about everything that you can think of. Um, I don't think I've ever been hurt. I had a snake bite me in the thumb once. That was nothing. It bled, but other than uh, my dogs have never bitten me. Cats, the funniest one probably was the dog was, giving you the paw. You say, here, shake, 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 and he goes to shake, and he hit me right here and turned my lip into a canoe. That was fun.
What was it that was pawing at you?
One of my dogs back in the
Oh,
day. I asked her to shake, and she shook. She put it right in my face.
yeah, no, the the problem with that's why I think we've always had bigger dogs because a big dog you're gonna know at all times where it's at. Yeah, I mean you can't help it; it's so massive. Toby is the first medium-sized dog that we've had, and he's already caused my wife to trip over on him because he just kind of darts out in front of her, out in front of us sometimes. And I've almost, fallen a couple of times. So at this point, I'm telling my wife, other than the fact that I think this will be our last dog that we keep, just because it gets to the point now where traveling gets a little bit more difficult because you gotta figure out what's going to happen. Can you take them with you? Do you need to board them?
Right.
And I was joking around last night on Instagram that the last time, or was it on Instagram? I forgot on Dr. Anthony's stream. The last time we traveled down to Mexico, it cost me more money for the boarding for the dog than we paid per night at the place we were staying down there. So,
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I was
I've
like,
been pretty fortunate. I usually have somebody come stay at the house, and I don't even have to board them. I just keep them right here. Um, Not that I don't want to bring down the mood, but the only issue I have now, the problem, I'm with you. I'm not going to get any more, no more furry pets because first of all, it hurts when they die. I mean, it just, there's no way around it. And the one I've got left is 15 and a half, and he's got cancer. And in fact, I think Lisa just announced a week or two or three ago that their dog has the same thing as Dakota does, and
yeah,
that's Cushing disease. And it's gonna take him. It's just a matter of when. And I can't just leave him with somebody. You can't just decide, oh well, somebody else can deal with him while I'm gone. I can't do that to him. I can't do that to the people that are going to be coming over. So, yeah, it's just really messes up any kind of travel plans that you have. I may not be able to go to the Flash this year because if he's still hanging around, I'm not going to go. Same with vacation. I won't go down to Florida if he's still around then.
yeah. Even when they're healthy, it still becomes an issue as to who's going to feed them, who's going to,
Yeah.
who's going to let them in and out of the house if they're in the house. So, I mean, luckily I found an app. Nowadays you can find an app for anything, but there was an app on here locally where you can find sitters for your pets. And obviously this time of the year I can't do that, but when we were traveling down, it was in May. The weather was really, really nice. So all I had was that person come and make sure that he had food and water in his dish, and that was pretty much it because he has the entire run of the house on the outside. So I didn't even ask him to clean up after him because I could do that when I got back. But the biggest thing was just making sure he had food and water.
Sure, right, because they aren't good planners. They'll eat everything you put down. If you you can't go, all right, this is Monday, this is Tuesday. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, more food.
Yeah. Whereas my cats, I could just leave them. I just put a big tub of, those self feeders. You turn the tub over and it just kind of keeps refilling the dish. I used to be able to leave my cats, for a week at a time. They were fine. Other than they were wondering where the heck we are, probably.
Well, and going to the aquarium side, I know you keep some of the bigger cichlids, the Central and South American cichlids. How difficult is it for you to get away because of those tanks? I mean,
Well, like I said, I'm fortunate in that my dad comes and stays while we're gone, so he's basically taking our spot. He lets the dogs out, he feeds the fish. When we had cats, he'd feed the cats. So, he's retired. Obviously, he can just make a schedule for himself. He can, if he needs to go home, he's close enough where it's an hour drive. He can get home, do his thing, and come back. And it's no worse than us going to work every day. So, I mean, that's it. I couldn't ask for anything more. What we're going to do when we hit Florida or Tennessee, to go on vacation. I'm probably just gonna have to downsize.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are you moving all your equipment with you, or? But well, I
Probably
think I.
probably not. You know, I don't want to move my tanks. You know, if I have a feeling it would go horribly bad. You know, the little ones are fine, but you know, the bigger ones, they're so heavy, and I'm getting older as the every tick that goes by on the clock. In 10 years, I'm not going to be able to lift those things anymore.
Yeah.
So I think I'll buy when I get down there. There's a custom aquarium place down there in Nashville. It's either custom aquariums or
The glass
glass
cage or something.
glass cages, maybe. Custom
Yeah. I think so.
aquariums is in Wisconsin, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might just go that route. Get a couple tanks, hire a kid to come over and drop food in there every couple days.
Any idea what you're going to keep in those 2 tanks? Because it's obviously going to limit the amount of fish you can have that you currently have.
I will probably stick with Oscars. Have always been one of my favorites. I just love them. You know, they're so personable um and I've just had one since I was 16 years old. I've always had one, so I think I'll stick with them, and I'll probably try to keep an arrow because I just those fish just fascinate me. I love them. I
I
just got to
guess
get a bigger tank.
my grandson is asking why does it say tick on the T-shirt?
Oh, because it's a play on words.
Oh, okay. Tick magnet. Especially down in Tennessee.
Yes, because every time I go down there, I get covered in them. I think I
So
had 7 last time I was down there.
have you guys broken ground on that new property yet or not?
No, we're just we're working on clearing the land. Probably not going to break ground for another. We're probably gonna have to sell this place before we can even do that, and just kind of get a camper or something to live in for a while.
Well, when you're clearing there, keep an eye out for oak leaves and cones and stuff like that. You can turn around and bag those and sell them as botanicals.
Right?
Get a little bit of a little bit of return on the on what you would consider trash.
All right. Yeah, I actually found I believe that I am not a turtle expert, but I believe it was a eastern box turtle cruising across the property, just a little baby one, about that big. I took a picture. He looked very angry that I was picking him up, but I needed to move him out of the way because we were mowing. I said, "You like it worse if I leave you here?"
Yeah, getting pelted by the blade.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned you've had guppies, you've had a arowana, you have Oscars, you said a jaguar cichlid and an angelfish. Anything else that you currently have that you haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, I mean, just to go through the list, I got blue, you know, the electric blue Acara. I've got a couple different, other than the one that's with the big guys. Pep gave me or gifted me, or I won them somehow, 3 other angelfish, which I've already forgotten the name of, Pep. So you have to tell me again. Electric blues. I've got a fire eel that I'm growing out. Delhezii or Delhezi biker, and then what else do I got? I got the red Texas, a green Texas, another red tear. I don't know if you guys all heard, but I gave Ben Ochart one of my red tears. He tried to put it in with his big guys and it didn't work out. So he's a solo fish again. But yeah, I have that. I have Jack Dempsey. I have a Venezuelan pike.
So
Jaguar
was the red tear living up to its name then? It was actually creating a tear in his tank?
I think it was a trifecta where it created a situation where his Salvini. Oh, I have a Salvini, the convict. His Salvini got super aggressive and was like darting out of the caves, and then that would trigger the red tear, and he was beating up on the Oscars a little bit. So by removing it, it kind of reset everything back to the way it was. So he's happy that he did that. And then I've kept
Hello.
just lake fish too.
This is Nathaniel.
I've
They're
kept
all,
bluegill and bass.
he's letting his other cousin know that he's live on my stream. I normally don't. My wife and I, we were used to being alone all the time, and normally I'd be streaming out of the garage, but I'm not going to sit in that. It's a sauna down there right now,
Right.
so I'm kind of stuck in the kitchen. But that's kind of like right now with the kids being here. I'm right in the middle of their chaos.
I think Jenna asked a question
Oh,
that I can't really answer. I don't
oh,
know how to answer that. If I were going to swap two,
okay.
if I was going to swap two fish fan members, Freaky Friday style, like does it have to be two other ones? Because I don't know who would want to be with the other.
Well, make it easy. Make it you and somebody else.
Maybe maybe Jason out of prime time just to see what life is with 80 plus tanks, or Kenny and Danny just to see what that's like out there. Because I've been up by you, by California, and just to experience the weather out there one more time. Because I was 18 last time I was out there. That was a long time ago.
Well, look, you just got to be careful. You pick the right spot in California. You don't want to come down to the southern part of California, down past San Diego, because you're gonna be in the
Okay.
heat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
San Diego's about as far as I would go south, and it has to stay on the west coast. Don't come to the center of the state.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it gets hot down here.
Too much hot.
But yeah, well, you drop down the mountains coming down from San Diego into the valley down here, and it's all desert. It's all desert from here all the way to Fort Stockton in Texas. It's the same arid area. Once you get past Fort Stockton in Texas, you start getting into the high desert and the high elevations, and you start seeing green. But for sure, from here to El Paso, it's all the same stinking heat.
Yeah, that's not for me.
No,
I,
it's not for me either, but I don't have a choice.
Yeah, I do. So I'm not going.
Yeah, if I had the choice and the means, I'd be living in San Diego for sure. I mean, that's of all the cities, in California, that's my ideal city.
Of all the cities in the United States, isn't that the one that has the ideal weather 90% of the time?
Yeah, well, what I like it is you have the beach, you have the desert if you want to go play in the winter down here is beautiful, and that's the one thing that is great about this area. You can be outdoors every single day in the winter and recreate. If you like four wheeling, if you like, we have some of the biggest sand dunes in the United States within 15 minutes from where I live. It's called the Imperial Sand Dunes. And that place becomes a mobile city on the holiday weekends, like Thanksgiving weekend and President's Day weekend. We get in excess of 100,000 people coming out here to recreate. And they come from all places. I mean, mostly from the Arizona and California area, but we do have a lot of people from out of state that plan it year in advance to go out there for those particular 2 weekends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you look at those sand dunes, and it's like standing at the foot of a mountain because they're so tall.
Right.
And it's nothing but sand.
Nothing but sand.
Yeah, it's nothing but sand. There's no rocks, no nothing in there. It's just what happened, I guess, going back to many, many, many years ago. It used to be all underwater in this area. And you can see if you're driving from the Imperial Valley up to Riverside County, there's a section where there's the Santa Rosa Mountains, and you can see the water line where it was at for many years, and it's like halfway up the mountain. So all this, that's why it's the valley that's at the Imperial Valley, literally was a water area. I mean, it was all underwater. So what's in the areas out here where we're at now, it's kind of like the shorelines. So as it dried out and the winds blew, it built up all these sand dunes, and that's why they're there. That's the only reason those dunes are there, is because of when millions of years or hundred thousands of years, I don't know how many, we were underwater, and that sand was just there. So, but they're a sight to see. If you go on YouTube and you type in Glamis or Imperial Sand Dunes, you're gonna get a look. I mean, you get these sand rails sitting at the bottom, and they look like little Hot Wheels at the bottom of these big embankments that they go up.
I know you said you don't like to go much further south than that, but do you get down to what is in Mexico there, down on the tip?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I live on across the border. As a matter of fact, for many years, I used to commute from the Mexico side to the United States side to go to work.
Yeah, it's that Cabo, right? Is it?
No. Cabo is way south.
Yeah,
Cabo,
that's what.
Yeah, Cabo is.
What's the little resort down there on the tip of the boot?
That's La Paz. Cabo is down there.
It is.
Those are the two down there at the boot of Baja California. But up here, it would be Tijuana, Ensenada. Ensenada is like a pivotal place for Mexico because it's one of the biggest ports, boat ports that the country has. So a lot of the commerce is up in this northern region of the part. You know, everything that comes in from China is coming into that seaport there, and then it gets all distributed by rail or by air, and trucks too. But that's one of the main central ports that the country has. So, you know, up in that area also is what's kind of, if you look it up, you'll see that there in Ensenada, they have wine country, which is, they equate it to Napa Valley in California.
Okay.
At that level of winemaking there. So it's real interesting. It's just kind of, you would never expect that Mexico would have wines that are being made, but they're one of the bigger producers of wines within the last few years. They've kind of really started spreading out, and I guess if you look at the globe and you follow the lateral lines, they're kind of in parallel to the region of France and stuff like that, where they make a lot of wine.
I got
so you. They have a very Mediterranean climate up in that area. Not where I live is straight up desert. I mean, right now we are sitting at about 110 outside.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's 110 outside. So
I'd never go outside.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's the workaround is here, you get out before the sun comes up, so you're out there doing whatever chores you need to do around 5 o'clock in the morning, and then by 9 o'clock you're heading back in, because after that you're not going to be able to do much,
right?
And then you wait till about 9 o'clock in the evening, and it'll still be up there. It'll be like in the high 90s, but at least you don't have the sun baking down on you,
right?
So
yeah, no, that's I'll pass on that.
Orchid and Endler says skin melts at 107. Not factual. I don't know. There's been times where I've stepped out of the door at midday and I literally feel my skin irritated from just how hot it is.
Yep. I believe it, because I mean, I've been in Florida. I mean, I know it's not the same, but it's is Florida more humid? Are you guys humid up by you? Or
no,
you're pretty.
I forgot I think Mike said he hates it when people say, yeah, it's dry heat. But you know what? Me experiencing both type of environments, there is a difference. There's definitely a difference, because with humidity, you can't sit in front of a swamp cooler and cool off because it's moisture on moisture.
Right.
Out here, it could be 110, and I got a swamp cooler running in the fish room, and it's, granted, it's still hot, but compared to outside being 110, it's only like 80 something, 88, 86 inside the garage. That's a big temperature drop between the two. Say hi, Dom. All right, go do what you're doing. I think they're daring each other now because they're taking turns coming over here. These little rascals. But that's
They're
okay.
famous.
Well, yeah, they think they are, but they don't realize they're on my channel, so there's no fame to be had. That's going to be the big disappointment. They're going to be like, "What? Only 10 people saw us?"
Yeah.
Here's the other one.
Tens of people saw me.
Hi,
Say,
guys.
that's Leo. Say hi, Leo.
Hi.
How old are you?
I
6,
6?
almost 7.
Almost 7. He's going
Me
to be
too.
a big boy pretty soon. Say bye.
Bye.
The only one missing now is my granddaughter, but she's too young to realize what's going on.
Oh, probably not. You don't underestimate the girls.
Well, no, she's only 3. So
Oh,
come here, Sophia.
Julie. Zenny.
You want to say hi, Sophia? She is beautiful. And that's not saying that because she's my granddaughter. But she's a little doll. Here, come and say hi. Say
Hey, you.
hello.
How are you?
What's your name? Say Sophia.
Sophia.
She at 3, she runs the house.
Yeah.
She runs the house at 3. But it's fun. I've really have enjoyed my grandkids, and I know it's not gonna be for much longer because they get older, then you're no longer cool. But that just happens.
Well, they got their own lives. You know, they're going to be taking off doing their own thing. They get their driver's license before you know it, and then they're never around anymore.
Well, it's embarrassing to be seen with your mom or dad or your grandparents at a certain age. You're kind of like, oh, too cool.
Drop me off early. Drop me off the block before we get there.
Yeah, you know what? Just walk me out the door of the house. I'll make it all the way to school. But yeah. So any plans you got? I know you got that new arowana, but are you looking to get anything else or change some of the stuff you have in your aquariums right now? Or
I think so. The plan, the from the get go, the plan was to do like several different continents. I don't want to do like a biotope or anything like that, but what is the like a biotope is like if you take a section of the river and stick it in your tank, right? Whereas I just like to get some fish from Asia. You know, I don't care if they come from the same region or anything like that. Just, you know, get from each continent maybe. And if I have 7 tanks, I'm going to be a little short, and then I have too many Southies, which hurts me too, because I only got so much room.
You're gonna having to pick and say, okay, you get to stay, you get to go.
Yeah. So, but I'd like to get to separate my South Americans from my Central Americans, and then maybe get a North American tank going, and then see how I go with Asian fish, because I do have the fire eel, which is going to get big. You know, they get like 2.5, 3 feet long, I think, is what I read, and they get about as big around as a Coke can. So there are no little guys. I might do some African stuff, you know, because the biker, bishir, or whatever they're called.
Well, maybe the workaround is going to be you stacking up tanks and then do like a little water bridge, small, like 1-inch water pipe, just to say they're connected.
Yeah.
It's the same water system.
If I stack tanks, I tell you right now, nothing's going on the ground. I am I'm not doing the bend over thing. Yeah, I have my guppies are on the floor right now in a tub, and it's hard to do any water changes on it because everything moves so slow. You know, the water just trickles out of there because it doesn't have the same inertia.
Yeah, I have to use a little small pump to be able to the ones that are literally on the floor, I can't siphon them out.
Right.
I tried doing it a couple of times. Ended up with more mouthfuls of water than being able. I thought I was manually siphoning them out that way because I couldn't get that siphon going. So I
Yeah.
just opted to got a little cheap little pump, and that works. Especially because they're only 10-gallon tanks. They're not that big.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even my tub is bigger than that. I have a 40-gallon.
Mm.
You know, it says on the lid 40-gallon tub. So I think my smallest tank is the 40. I have a 40 breeder. That's where the arrow is going to go for a little while. I can't remember how fast they grow, but if I remember right, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
MNC, how you doing, buddy?
I guess Jeff said that he has to lay on the floor to be able to enjoy some of his tanks that he's got to.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna. I'm getting too old. I don't want to have to get up.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
TJ.
I'm gonna have to rearrange my fish room, and I'm gonna build some new racks. But yeah, I'm the lowest aquarium. The lowest they'll ever be to the ground from this point on is probably going to be a foot. I'm not going anything less than 12 inches off the ground.
You got to give yourself some room to get the flow going.
Yeah.
Although if you said the pump is working, it's not horrible. But
yeah, no, but I mean, it's a pain in the butt because you got to run an extension, and then unless you get one of those smart plugs where you can run it from your phone, you have to be paying attention and then go on and plug it, and it's just too much hassle. So I rather put them in a place where I can create a siphon and be able to drain them that way, and not have to deal with those little pumps.
Right.
Yeah, but I know we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. I really want to thank you very much for
no problem
for accepting my invitation
it was fun.
to do this stream. Hopefully, it's not the last time we get to interact together. And I really do appreciate it. I mean, and especially everybody that's out here and supporting us and me. This is the most I've ever had on a live stream. Is this many people being here, and I think a big part of that is because of who I have on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but thank you, and the next one I've already. The guest has said they're willing to do it. Now I just got to be able to find the right time slot that'll work for the both of us. But like I said, I try to put these out in advance. Unfortunately, my schedule is ever rotating, so it's a good and a bad thing. The reason it's good is because some people only have availability in the morning, so that if I happen to coincide with them, then we can go in the morning.
Right.
And so it gives me a little bit of flexibility. The challenge has always been trying, again, like you were saying, not trying to interfere in somebody's stream, but it's getting to the point now where the saturation is real. But I also noticed that it goes in trends. It has its ups and downs, and so
for sure.
They're all coming in now. Make sure you guys say bye. Say bye, guys.
Subscribe.
Bye. Subscribe.
All right, guys.
Now.
All right. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome.
Well, Whip, thank you, and thank you everybody for being here, and thank everybody for the super chats, the super stickers, and the memberships. I really do appreciate that. And I guess I'm gonna have to work on something to do some little bells and whistles, and so that when they do that, at least they get that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.